Welcome to the UIAAA Connection podcast. We thank GoFan and VNN, the exclusive sponsors of the UIAAA Connection. Now operating as one combined company, GoFan and VNN offer a seamless experience through digital ticketing and athletic websites. They make it easy to direct fans to one central place for schedules, communication, and tickets for both home and away events. We appreciate GoFan and VNN for their continued support and exclusive sponsorship of the UIAAA Connection podcast.
Welcome back to another edition of the UIAAA Connection. I'm your host, Mark Hutch Hunter. Today we have as our special guest, Lorell Jungling, Certified Master Athletic Administrator and the Executive Director of the North Dakota Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association. Welcome to the podcast, Lorell.
Thank you, Mark. I appreciate it. Thanks for asking me.
Let's have you begin by sharing with our audience where you grew up, where you went to college, your first job, etc.
Okay. Well, I'm small town North Dakota, no doubt about it. I grew up in a small town, Max, North Dakota. Like I said, small school. I grew up on a farm. So I had limited opportunities for athletics and things like that, but I did take part in a lot of different things. I went to a Valley City State University, a small college in North Dakota. Actually, I went there on a music major, and at one time I was going to be a music teacher, and found out after 1 year that that wasn't my calling, definitely. So I kind of switched gears, went into physical education, social studies, and I always wanted to coach, and that's where I went. I got my first job in a small school in North Dakota. I thought we were going to be there like maybe 1 year or two, Renee and I, and we ended up getting just sucked into that small community, and we're there for 13 years. So it was a great place. Cheyenne, North Dakota, like I said, a small school. My first job, I taught K through 12 music, so that 1 year of music came in handy. Given my job anyway, and I went on to. I was also boys and girls basketball coaches, along with physical education teacher, social studies, and went on from there. Went into administration. I think it was my 6th year there, and ended up serving 4 different school districts in North Dakota throughout my career before I retired in 2016. So that's kind of a
Let's
little
talk
bit
about.
I got my master's. Excuse me. I did get my master's degree in 1997, so that would help me in my administrative
Perfect.
career.
So let's talk about, you grew up in a small town in North Dakota. What were the opportunities to participate in youth sports in such a rural area? Were you able to, or was it just tough?
Well, we had that was before North Dakota. I graduated in 1980, and I think about 1981 they started to co-op in a lot of sports. Schools could get together and co-op. So the only thing I didn't have an opportunity to participate in was football. I was played baseball. We had basketball, of course, and 1 year they needed some kids for the track team, so I was in track and baseball at the same time, but not because of my running prowess, but just because they needed some numbers. So I was busy all the time, did other things. I was into music and those kind of things too, but we did have limited. I wish I could have played football, but it just wasn't offered at that time.
Okay, so let me go back. So let me get my North Dakota geography correct. So this small town that you grew up in, is it close to Fargo? Is it close to Grand Forks? Is it others? Minot? Is it on the other side of the state? Where exactly is it?
We're right on a main highway, just south of Minot, about 27 miles. So it's kind of in between Minot and Bismarck. So if
Okay.
we wanted to go home, it's about an hour and a half drive right now, but it's kind of smack dab in the middle of the state for the most part.
Perfect. Let's have you talk for a minute, Lorell, about some of the mentors and leaders coaches you've had in your life that have made a difference to you, both as a young man and professionally?
Yeah, definitely. A mentor that I had, we always look back at our teachers and coaches, and I had two great coaches in my high school days that promoted education and kind of pushed me in that direction and gave me some opportunities there and encouraged me to do that. And I'm really happy I did. My professional career, my first superintendent was very impactful on my life. Um, but about, I guess I started teaching in '84. And about the time I left Cheyenne in 1997, I became involved in that school was so small. We really didn't have a named athletic director, but I kind of was because I did all the coaching. But about 10 years after, or about, like I said, 13 years after I started, I met this gentleman by the name of Ed Lockwood. I
Mm.
went to administrators meeting in Bismarck. All the principals were there. I was a high school principal at the time, and I thought, well, I'd go check out this NDIAAA thing, and sat in this meeting. And at that time, the NDIAAA with Ed Lockwood, his passion, and some of our other leaders, Darrell Anderson as well, uh, Gary Mayhew, some of these guys, um, they they had a passion about kind of rebranding our athletic director association in North Dakota, and became the NDIAAA. And I heard Ed up on his soapbox giving the Newt Rockney speech, and I give him a bad time about that when I see him, because he really was. If I wouldn't have went to that meeting, I'm not sure where I'd be today. Definitely, uh, I wouldn't have gotten involved in the NDIAAA as quickly as I did. But Ed just he just had the passion for, and Ed as well, but he just had the passion for athletic administration and kids and coaches, and it was hard to not get excited about it.
Perfect. Let me ask you a little bit of a personal question here, Lorell. What's your biggest failure or disappointment in life, and what did you learn from it?
Well, I I thought about that question here, and you know, when we first start out, we tend to think we know a lot of answers to a lot of different things, and so probably my failure early in my career was that I didn't kind of give things a little bit of time to soak in. I tried to solve problems right away, and not that they created more problems, but they just weren't well thought out. So as I matured, was able to kind of sleep on things and this type of thing, and was able to probably make better decisions moving forward. So I guess that would be one. That would be the thing that looking back, that I wish I would have had the thought process to maybe just kind of sit back, give things a little chance to meditate a little bit, and make a good decision.
Totally understandable. Thank you for sharing that. Let's have you talk now about the job of athletic administrator and how much it's changed or how much it's still the same after all these years that you've been in it.
Mhm. Well, yeah, the things that are the same, of course, is why we do this. We do it for the students, we do it for our coaches, but ultimately to be able to provide that opportunity for students to participate. As far as when I first started as athletic director, yeah, the technology is just obviously just exploded. The technology that I had when I first started was a desktop computer with WordPerfect on it, and I didn't have an email address until I was in Valley City, which was my third school that I served. So technology, now you can do everything, email, online, as far as like game contracts. I'm thinking about ways to allow us to be more efficient, with scheduling and all of those kind of things. But along that line, you feel, okay, we're more efficient, but there's also, in my opinion, there's a lot more expectations these days on an athletic administrator. Um, about 15 years ago, the concussion management, the concussion situation in the United States was really under the magnifying glass, and I just remember all of those type of planning and those types of things. Emergency planning, community relations that we're involved in. Parents, booster clubs. Fundraising, trying to provide through finance, the finances, that you can so you can continue to provide, for your athletes. So I just think technology and is just a big thing now. Social media, I wasn't real good at that. Towards the end of my career, it wasn't, Facebook and those kind of things weren't really out there as much. Now in my current position, I try to use it a little bit, uh, uh, but I'm getting better. But there's just so many opportunities to, connect with people these days. Some good, some bad.
Let me ask you a follow-up. Now, you mentioned this first meeting where you met Ed Lockwood. So how long ago was that? And then delve into a little bit more than from that meeting, then that was your initial involvement into the NDIAAA. So talk a little bit more about that.
Yeah. That meeting, I believe, was like 1997. And then a couple years later, I got a job at Valley City High School as their athletic director and middle school principal. Now I got now I was honored to got the opportunity to sit in the same room with Ed in the same conference. So we played against each other, our teams, and that type of thing. So now I was able to work with him closer, and that evolved into me getting more and more involved in the NDIAAA. In 1997, I was one of four: Darrell Anderson, Ed Lockwood, Craig Perry, Ben Fink out of Wahpeton. We basically got together one weekend and organized our first fall workshop for our membership. It was started out, we thought it would be something for new ADs. Well, everybody wanted to come, so we organized that. Along with that same year, we organized our first state conference, as it looks like today. And so we have a fall workshop in Mandan, where I live, and we have a spring conference or state conference in Fargo at that time, where Ed was the AD. So the involvement into that and getting involved in with these pioneers, I guess, of what is now the NDIAAA, just inspired me to get more and more involved. 1999 was my first national conference that I attended in Orlando. Flew down there with Ed and his wife, and I mean, just I'm sure I saw a guy with a lot of pins on his name badge. That was probably Hutch, but I mean, what a family! I mean, my first impression was, wow, this is a group that I want to get involved in, and it took a while at the national level to do that, but the state level, I just jumped right in. We needed a treasurer, membership coordinator, eventually became the president, eventually became our High School Activities Association rep to our AD Association. We only have one in our High School Activities Association in North Dakota, but I was elected to that. And then it was North Dakota's turn that year to have a member on the National Federation of High Schools Board of Directors. And our board elected me to do that. So I was on our state board, I was on the High School Activities Board, and I was on the National Federation Board pretty much all at the same time. And you would know as well, along with other athletic directors, that you just need that school support. I had an administrative assistant that was just tremendous, because I was gone a lot, and but the school just backed us and knew that was important. And so I got really heavily involved in the NIAAA as much as I could at that time as well.
That's fascinating. I've got a couple of follow-up questions. The first one, you'll find this, and I don't know if I've told you this story, but you talked about this meeting with Ed in the fall of '97. So it was the 98 conference in Las Vegas. I took, I think, 4 leadership training courses at the time, and there was only 6 to take. And in 503, I'm sitting at a table, and at my table is Ed Lockwood and Craig Perry, which is the first time I met both of them. Obviously, they became, great friends of mine. But you talk about the NIAAA family. That's amazing that right about that same time as when I met them. My question is, uh, what years did you serve on the Federation board? Because I had no idea that you did that. That's awesome. So tell me about the years that you were on that board. It's a 4-year commitment, right?
That's correct. So I was on that board from 2005 to 2009, and I met some great people there. Jim Tenneper from
Hmm.
Nebraska was there. High School Activity Association. Ron Laird from Wyoming. Got to
From
be very good
Wyoming,
friends with
sure.
Ron. We had Dan Washburn was our president at the time. He's from Alabama, and he couldn't say my name right because Alabamans don't speak the same way we do in North Dakota, anyway. But just got to. It was very interesting. I felt like an outsider because I was an athletic director, not a high school activity association rep. But I was taken in by the group. They valued my perspective, and it was really a very interesting experience to serve on that rulemaking body and understand kind of the other side of the process.
So was it during that time that you may have met Rob Cuff from Utah, who's recently is going to retire here in a couple of months?
Okay. Yeah, it was so intimidating, to be honest with you, when I first went to these meetings. I was an at-large member, so I served 2 different regions in the state, and of course our local one here was South Dakota, North Dakota, and that.
Hmm.
But my other one was out in the West, Section 8. I was 5 and 8, and
Okay,
so yeah, I'm sure I did. I can't bring up his face, but I do remember that name, and
sure.
but just great people. If you remember the T-Mobile National Basketball Tournament that was going on, that was kind of controversial across the country,
I
and it
remember that. Yeah,
uh, NFHS, and so I was kind of in the middle of that, and it was an interesting process.
that's interesting. Let's have you talk for a moment, and you've mentioned most of these before. Go into a little bit more detail about working with NI or North Dakota legends, and of course, they're legends to me, people that I've met from. You mentioned Darrell Anderson, Ed Lockwood, Craig Perry. We would add Olson to that, NIAAA president. Talk about these great leaders and the effect. Obviously, you've talked about the effect it's had on you, but the general AD population in North Dakota.
Mhm. Yeah, just tremendous. Ed, of course, I've talked about him with his passion and with his leadership and vision that he has. It was a lot of fun working with Ed and learning so much from him. Craig was he was outstanding. He brought the LTI leadership training program to its height across the country, but especially in North Dakota. We started, that, and Craig, he probably taught most of all of our classes, him and Ed, until we created our faculty and that kind of thing. But again, Craig, just a tremendous person. Darrell Anderson, that's the individual that I took over for at his school when he retired. I took over, and Darrell helped me through my first couple years here, and helped me, even supervise events and things like that. Um, he still is active in our association to a certain extent, being retired. And Darrell taught me. He told me one time, and I would tell young ads this, that you have to understand that you live in a glass house, and you are a role model for your community. Everybody's watching you to see what kind of a role model you are, and you're the face of that athletic department. And most schools and communities, that's very important. So, and it is here as well. So So Darrell taught me a lot. Todd Olson, yeah, he was the president of our state high school activity association. He's been the president of the NDIAAA actually twice because we had, as he was when he was past president, our president took another job, so we pulled Todd back, and he was our president two different times, and of course the president of the NIAAA. So yeah, Todd, what great leadership skills, and he's our spring conference coordinator. Um, and he's been hinting around about his days are numbered, that type of thing coming up. But another great leader from North Dakota, Todd Olson. Exactly.
Perfect. Let me have you talk now about the NEDC because that's when we first met years and years ago when you first became the executive director. Talk about the NEDC, what a great group that is, kind of a unique group. And for those that don't know, it's just executive directors from each of our state associations. And then after you talk about that for a minute, then talk about your meeting last year in North Carolina, the first one I've missed in, well, for years and years, because now Everett's taken my spot. So I turn it over to you.
Mhm. Yeah, the NEDC again, a group that when I came in, and I started in 2016, I kind of code with Ed. Ed was on his way out. I was on my way in, and that first meeting that I went to in Minneapolis, and wow, walking into that room and seeing the executive directors that I it was intimidating. I first saw those individuals back in 1999 when I went to my first conference, and being in a room with so much experience and passion again, it was amazing. So yeah, it's been a great ride with the NEDC. So much learning again, so much like so much like an AD group, so to speak. I know NED, the executive directors work for their state, ADs work for their school, but we all learn from each other again. The sharing time that we have is just so important, and that was a big part of our conference in North Carolina. Again, like it always is. But I do remember that very first meeting. I don't know if it was the Minneapolis one or the next one, but there was this gentleman who looked a lot like you, Hutch,
Yeah.
that mentioned to me, you should get involved in this group. You should look out, try to get some leadership position, and lead. And I did. I took your advice. The first time didn't work out, but the second time did, and so I was the vice chair for a couple of years. I was our chair, and I just finished our as past chair. So which is a 6-year commitment. Which it's amazing that I've been part of the NEDC for 10 years. But yeah, it's just a great group, very diverse, which is great. We can all learn from each other, different parts of the country. But tell you what, I look forward to that summer meeting. We're going to Kentucky this year. Look forward to the summer meeting, and we don't get as much time to be together at the national conference, but uh, both of them definitely look forward to get back and see those individuals. And there's some lifelong friends that are there. Fran Witten and myself, our wives, we still meet once a year to spend some time, do some hiking or whatever. And so lifelong friends are made through that group, which is very good.
That's awesome. Thanks for sharing. I want to congratulate you in front of our audience. You did mention it's a 6-year commitment. That's a long commitment. 2 years as the vice chair, 2 years as the chair, and then 2 years as the past chair. And people may think, but that is a big responsibility because you have all these directors, and each of these executive directors comes with different personality, different state. You've got large states, you've got smaller states like North Dakota, Utah, you've got bigger states like Pennsylvania or Massachusetts that, certainly have a lot more cash flow than we have. But as you mentioned, it's the sharing of ideas and the great camaraderie there that It's been a benefit, I think, for all the state associations. So thank you for that insight. Let me ask you about the recent conference in Tampa. We all are aware that it was scheduled originally for 2020. It was COVID. None of us went. So it's the first time I think a lot of us had ever been to Tampa. Just give me your reflections on the conference side and the program and what it was like to be there.
It's a great venue. It was tremendous, easy to get around, and the motel's real right, within walking distance if you obviously get to the right one. But no, it was a great venue. The weather again was pretty nice. My wife and I went down about a week early and spent some time in St. Petersburg, and great area there. And but yeah, it was a great venue. Obviously the professional development, all of leadership training courses that are available, all of the workshops. I'm involved now with numerous meetings, to represent our state at. So don't get a chance to attend as many of the meetings and workshops as I have in the past. But just a great place to be. So it'll be interesting to see how long it takes to go back to Tampa. But they were great hosts, and it was fun to attend there. It really was.
Perfect. Lorell, what's the favorite part of your job now that you're the executive director, and what was the favorite part of your job when you were in a school?
Well, in a school that has never changed. The best part of my job, when I was the athletic director, was at 3:30, when I could go and watch our kids participate in whatever that was. As I got in larger schools, I had more and more sports. I never had hockey until I came to Mandan, and that was a learning experience. And but it just that time where you could spend, watching kids and supporting them, and along with our coaching staff, it was just the best part of the day. So that was definitely the most fun. That was the best part of that job. Um, as far as executive director, supporting our ADs through our professional development that we have here, and I'm kind of in charge of our awards program and things like that. But definitely the most fun of being executive director is when I get to make a phone call in probably about 3 weeks, where I can call our two student scholarship winners from North Dakota as part of the NIAAA scholarship program. When I get to make that phone call and talk to them about that they are our winner, and they have a chance to go on at the next level, and that type of thing. It just that's one of the main things that I miss about not being in the school anymore, are the kids. Now, I attend a lot of our activities here and that kind of thing, but obviously it's just not the same. And I guess that's probably why, as an athletic director, 3:30 was the best part of my day, is because once you get out of the classroom, that 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 contact with kids is gone for the most part, and that relationship that you can build with kids. So, that's why we're all in this business, is that. But we got into that leadership role to help more kids, and not just the few that we see in our classrooms. So, it's just been a great career. I guess I wouldn't do it any other way. Obviously, bumps and bruises along the way and things you have to deal with, but it's been a great ride, no doubt about it.
Perfect. Thanks for sharing that. We'll finish up with a couple of questions, Lorell. The first being this: you've got two suggestions for a brand new athletic administrator, and this person would need to follow Lorell's suggestions in order to become a success. What would your two suggestions be?
Number one, I would say, join your association, join your state association, get involved. There is so much support that you can have. There's so much networking. It is lonely at the top, and as an athletic administrator, you are at the top of your staff, your athletic staff, and there are days when you're going to be alone, and you need to have a networking out there. You need some support, and that's something that your local and national association can give you. You can, borrow from your friends and that kind of thing. Don't reinvent the wheel. The other thing I would tell new ADs is not every day is going to be a good day. I mean, that's just the way life is. Not every day is going to be a good day. So I kind of came up with this little slogan myself that I kind of said, this too shall pass. And meaning that, okay, those tough times that you've got, you're going to make it through it. Be patient, give yourself time to make some good decisions, get support from your administration in your school, your association, but you will make it through it. And this too will pass, and then you'll go on and start, enjoying your kids and this kind of thing, because you're always going to have some conflict. There's just no doubt about it. And if you wouldn't, then you're not doing your job.
Great advice. Thanks so much for sharing. We'll finish with this. Lorell, what questions should I have asked you that I failed to ask?
I think you covered everything really well. I did not mention in my first opening that, family is, the NIAAA and NDIAAA, the NEDC, all that family is so important, but your own family and your own health is more important. And I've been married for 44 years to my wife, Renee. We have 2 boys, both adult, married, 2 great daughter-in-laws. We have 7 grandchildren, and it just can't get any better than that. And I've just been blessed. I've been so blessed to be able to share all of that, this with my family. And when I would be an AD or when I would be a coach, my kids were right there with us, being the ball boy or being this or being that, depending on what size school we were at. So it was, I no doubt about it. I'm blessed with my life, and hopefully I don't see it going away, NEDC or my AD position anytime soon. I enjoy what I'm doing, and as long as I can impact people, I'll stay where I'm at.
Well, you are, thank you for that. You're a great leader in all those national groups, and of course, with your own family. Can't thank you enough, Lorell, for being on the podcast. That wraps up for this edition of the podcast. Again, our special guest today has been Lorell Jungling, Certified Master Athletic Administrator, the Executive Director of the North Dakota Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association. Lorell, thanks for being on the podcast.
Thanks so much, Mark, for asking me. I appreciate it. Have a great day.
For our listeners, we hope you tune in again next week for another edition of the UIAAA Connection.